breezy.
Briefer
Yes.
than well, I wouldn't say breezy, briefer than I thought it would be. Okay, thanks for that. Can we start with Israel? You had seen, no doubt, reports about the raids that were conducted on these NGOs and the closure of the offices, and I'm wondering what, if anything, you guys have to say about it, and what, if anything, you have to say about the review of the material that the Israelis gave to you last year about them being terrorist organizations.
Sure. We are concerned. We are concerned about the Israeli security forces' closure of the 6 offices of the Palestinian NGOs in and around Ramallah today. We have reached out to the Israeli government including at senior levels, including here from Washington, as well as from our embassy in Jerusalem, for more information regarding the basis for these closures. And we'll continue to seek additional information and to convey our concern directly and privately to our Israeli partners. Our Israeli partners, in turn, have assured us that more information will be forthcoming regarding the basis for their actions. We, of course, have assured them that we will review that information on a timely basis and very carefully as well. We have, in the course of recent events, but also in recent months and beyond, made clear to our Israeli government partners and the Palestinian Authority as well the fact that independent civil society organizations in the West Bank and Israel must be able to continue their important work. Civil society is an integral element to thriving democracies the world over, and of course that applies here. To your specific question about our review of the material that has been provided to us to date from our Israeli partners, what I can say is that we have provided that information to our partners within the U.S. government. There are various departments and agencies who have taken a look at this material. What I can also say is that when it comes to reviewing information, whether that's intelligence information, whether that's open source information, we're always reviewing new material, which is why we've conveyed directly to the Israelis that any new information they provide, including the information they have pledged to provide regarding the basis for today's action, that would be something that we would review carefully, thoroughly, and immediately. As I think you know, Matt, through the course of our review of this information, we have not changed our position on or approach to these particular organizations. I should note that we designated the PFLP as a foreign terrorist organization in 1997, several decades ago. It is also a specially designated global terrorist group. It remains designated today. We have never funded any of these organizations, but again, we have not seen anything that has caused us to change our approach to or position on these organizations.
Okay, so does that mean that based on what you know now, pending the arrival of this new information that the Israelis say that they're going to give you, you do not see any basis for the raids and the closures that took place today?
Again, we have been promised additional information regarding...
I'm not asking about what you might learn in the future, because that's a hypothetical. I'm asking you about what you know now, and based on what you know now, was this action legitimate?
We have conveyed the message that there must be a very high bar to take action against civil society organizations. Our Israeli partners, in turn, have conveyed back to us that they have met that high bar.
Yeah,
that is why we are going to carefully review the information that they have pledged to provide. We will form a conclusion on the basis of that information. We don't have that information yet. In the interim, to your question, that is why we voiced our concern. We have voiced our concern publicly. We have also voiced our concern directly and privately to our Israeli partners.
Okay, but you got information about these groups from the Israelis a year ago, and you still haven't made a conclusion. So I'm sorry, it's just a little hard to believe. that
Well,
all of a sudden, new information is going to arrive, and you're going to make it when you haven't made one in a year on the previous information. That you're going to be able to say something, or will say something, you know, anytime soon.
so Matt, a couple things. As I mentioned a moment ago.
It's in a perpetual state of limbo.
Well, as I mentioned a moment ago, Matt, we have seen nothing in recent months that has caused us to change our approach to or position on these particular
Okay,
organizations.
but
But the other point is that when it comes to these matters, we are always reviewing new information. New information that is in our possession, new information that our partners provide to us. That will certainly be the case with the information that our Israeli
I
partners
get
have
that,
pledged to provide in this case.
But, okay, I guess this is kind of a futile line of inquiry. Let me just go.
Can I follow?
Sure.
So
I mean, I don't want to belabor the issue or even beat the dead because you guys received that information, as Matt said, on the 26th of October last year. You know, it's been a long.
So Said, let me clarify.
But just let me follow through on my question. Okay, and you keep saying that, you know, the Israeli government or the Israeli authorities met the bar. Okay, have they met the bar?
Said, what I said was our Israeli partners have conveyed to us their opinion that they have met that bar. As I said, we do not have the information yet in our possession that they have pledged to provide us. As soon as we receive that, we will begin reviewing it. We'll review it thoroughly. We'll review it carefully. I imagine we'll also provide it to other departments and agencies who have a stake in this. To your first point, our Israeli partners did provide us with information last year, but I do want to clarify, to underscore that what has been promised to us today is additional information regarding the basis for their actions over the past 24 hours. So we will, of course, review that carefully, just as we have carefully reviewed the information they provided to us last year.
Okay, and Israel's record is clear and meeting this bar and being really true to what they say in their accusation, right? We have always had, you know, we can look and review this record and find that Israel was always right in its assessment and so on, or its accusation, as far as you're concerned, right?
I'm not going to be categorical about anything like that, Said. What I will be categorical about is the fact that we will review what is provided to us and come to our own conclusion.
Yeah, but
Well, what was the conclusion that you came to based on the previous information that was given to you last year?
Matt, I've said this now a couple times. We haven't changed our position on those organizations.
But what was your conclusion about the information that they did? Do you agree with them that these groups are terrorist organizations or connected to?
What happened last year is the Israeli government designated these organizations.
I remember it very well.
We have not followed through with any designations, nor have we changed our approach to these organizations.
So then why can't you just come out and say that you don't accept the Israeli allegation?
We are going to continue. We are going to continue to review any information that's provided to us.
Have you gotten anything since October?
We've been promised information today.
Yeah, but have you gotten anything since October and today that would make you apparently not?
As I just said, we have not changed our position on these
Okay,
organizations.
so you don't believe the Israelis' information?
This is information. Intelligence information is always information that is the subject of analysis, and different parties can read information differently, can perceive of threats differently. Our own analysis heretofore of the information that was provided last year has not caused us to change our approach to these organizations.